that does happen to me quite a bit with modeling, with dancing, and just, people just trying to find that first step. But I think it's important to invest in yourself. So like if you have somebody like a mentor, if you are hitting somebody up on social media and saying like, hey, can you help me with this? Great. But it's also important to do your own research where you're not, like I said, taking advantage, and like that person shouldn't have to hold your hand with every single thing.
Mm-hmm. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Let's Just Be Real podcast. I'm your host, Marissa Tong. Thank you so much for tuning into another episode this week. I'm so happy to be sitting down with another special guest. And today I'm sitting down with a multi-passionate, creative Ms. Carly Harper.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
I'm so happy. This is our first time meeting, like in real life.
Yeah.
And I feel like we've been following each other for a couple years.
For
like
sure.
Just supporting each other like through Instagram. Dancers, obviously, like dancers are always going to support for the most part.
Yeah.
And also Jersey girls.
Yes.
And yeah, tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. So, my name is Carly Harper. I am a Jersey girl through and through.
Ew.
And I do love SpongeBob. We were talking before. I was like, SpongeBob is my jam. It's just one of those things. And I was not always a dancer. Growing up, I was into sports. I played basketball. I played softball. I played piano for 10 years. When I was like 9, I was like, I'm gonna be in the WNBA.
Yeah.
Mind you, I'm like 5'2". Like, I'm like,
Yeah.
what the heck was going on? I don't know. And then I got into dance when I have an older sister. She was on a competitive team.
Ooh.
Yeah. And I was like, I would go to her competitions. I'm like, this looks cool.
Yeah.
But, like, I had never danced. I never took any sort of classes or anything.
Yeah.
But watching her dance, there was a day where I was just like, no, I'm gonna try that. Like,
Ooh.
having zero dance experience. But I auditioned for their team and I made it. So like, I think I had like that innate like 5, 6, 7 in my body.
Yes.
And, I fell in love with dancing, and I got into a studio when I was a sophomore in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And then my first ballet class, I was like 17. While I was like auditioning for colleges for like their dance programs, which was nuts because I'm like, Tombe Padua, what? Like, what are we doing? And I'm like, I don't know. But I was able to pick things up, and I went to college for dance, and just loved dance even more, and then started dancing professionally afterwards. And still loving SpongeBob. That's top priority right there, SpongeBob. And then I had a studio. I emceed for a competition. I take naps when I can.
I love that. What's your sign?
I'm a Virgo.
Ooh, Virgo. You did tell me that. I love Virgos. So I'm a Scorpio. I feel like we're very similar. Like, very like serious about certain things in life. I feel like Virgos are very focused.
Sure.
And like go-getters.
Yeah.
Somewhat perfectionist.
Oh, a little bit.
Yeah.
just a little bit.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. So I love to hear too that you got into dance later in life.
I did.
Because also myself, like I talk a little bit about, I think I've had like one podcast episode talking about it. But yeah, like I started with like fitness. So that was like my main thing growing up. Like my mom would work out like in our basement, and I had like these little 1-pound weights with her. And they didn't have me in dance school. Like my parents were like, it's expensive. And like, just like that whole thing. It was also just like, my parents are very like protective and stuff. So growing up, I got more into it like in school, like in the musicals in school and stuff like that. And yeah, and then here we are.
Here we are.
Here we are.
We are here. Here we are.
That's
great.
Yeah. So I want to talk a lot about today, like being multi-passionate, right? Because you have all these things that you're interested in, all these things that you're doing, right? And I really want to focus in on like, how do you balance? Like, how do you find the balance with like hosting, a show one day, maybe, taking a dance class one day, doing something else? Like, how do you find the balance and the time?
Ooh, that is a great question. One, you got to be a little crazy. And I mean that in like a very encouraging way. When you are passionate about things, it's like, you don't want to limit yourself and be like, oh, like I can only focus on one thing. Like, yes, that's great if you're putting your 100% into one passion, one focus, like that's great. But you can also put 100% in 2 different things. Like, it's okay to have, one focus, and then maybe that one focus motivates you and encourages you to do something else, or it just like helps, I don't know, like something
Mhm.
else could come out of it. And you're like, wait a minute, this is kind of like an extension of this one focus. Why don't I
Yeah.
focus on this thing too? And like,
Yeah.
I feel like, and no shade, but I just feel like it's almost like an old school mindset to be like, you go to college, you do your one degree, and then that's all you do, and then you die, and then well, that
Mhm.
was morbid. I
No, it's true
I went real
though.
quick.
It's
Real
true.
quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like it's okay to have your maybe you go to school for your degree and etc. But then it's like I went to college for dance.
Mhm.
When I graduated and I was doing more professional work and like doing workshops and meeting people and doing these like showcases, I was building my dance portfolio. So I would do headshots, I would like work with photographers. And
Mhm.
then that encouraged me and like inspired me to get into modeling more seriously. So it's like
Mhm.
now modeling, I worked for a model management company, which I don't think I told you, but I worked
Yeah.
for a model management
Yeah.
company and I would direct photo shoots. I would create comp cards. I was on set. Like, then that got me like, there's just, and I don't know, my brain, I'm like so
Yeah.
excited. I'm like, yeah, all the inspiration from one focus, like it's okay to do more than one thing and be
Mhm.
100% in and keep your focus with more than one thing. Like, don't hinder
Mhm.
yourself. Where's the box? We don't need to have a box. We really don't.
Yeah.
You make your own way. So in terms of finding the balance, I would say yes for
You're fine.
I speak with my hands.
You're fine.
So excited. Yes, for having yourself be focused and, creating like an actual schedule, that's important. And I
Mhm.
feel like for me, I like to decompress by playing The Sims, which I know sounds
Oh
kind of
my
nuts.
God, I miss The Sims. Yo, I used to be addicted. I had to cut it. I had to cut it.
Bring it back.
Addicted.
She's gonna bring it back. We're gonna make sure that Marissa is like on The Sims again.
My business will go up in flames, honey. Like in flames. They're gonna be like, what happened? Why isn't she showing up to the studio? Oh damn, I was home playing The Sims. Like
hours. And then you become like an interior designer all of a sudden.
right.
You're like, I built a new house today.
Oh
Like,
my
so
God.
fun.
I love The Sims though.
It's so fun. It's like that's okay. So I think the reason why I decompress with The Sims is because being able to build a house and have unlimited funds when you do that little cheat code and just like, I'm like, this is my pretend world. So like for what we do with being involved with dance, with being involved in fitness and just being in the artistic realm in general.
Yeah.
We're around people a lot.
Yeah.
We're around music all the time.
Yes.
We are people. We have that personable kind of vibe,
Mhm.
which is beautiful. And I love that for both of us.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we need to have our alone time.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So my alone time is me snacking,
Mhm.
playing The Sims a little bit, my pretend world of building a home.
Yeah.
And just being able to have the mental break from being around people and being able to decompress like that. That's super important.
Mhm.
And I think that almost helps me recharge so that I can then be inspired to be like, oh, you know what? I'm going to do, let me look up a photographer and do this photo shoot with so-and-so, or it's a nice little break moment. So for me personally, I find the balance by having decompressing periods of time.
Yes.
And then jump into something new. So,
yeah. I love that. You do need that time to just get your mind off of what you're doing, right? Like I like to just watch like a reality show, like, and I'm not even really that much into it anymore. Like I used to be, watch all the reality shows.
all of them.
But sometimes I feel like it kind of just gets your mind, because then you're just so intrigued with like someone else's life, where
Yeah.
it's like I'm not thinking about like the million things that I have to do today.
Yep.
And I get a chance to just be, or even just going out in nature, like just sitting, in a park or something like that. Like we need that time.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely. We're humans. We are humans.
Mhm.
So you need to be able to recharge. And if that's, like you said, like taking a walk, being outside, being inside playing The Sims for 75 hours. No.
Yeah.
Maybe not 75 hours, but
Yeah.
whatever that is, just to kind of recharge and kind of escape.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's important.
So I want to pivot the conversation. So I know that you are a fitness instructor. You teach Pvolve?
I do.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about Pvolve because I only know one other person, Jalila. I don't know if you know. Yeah. So Jalila's on the show. Shout out to her. Yes. And yeah, so I found out about Pvolve through her, but I've never like tried a class. Can you talk about like some of the benefits or like exactly what it is?
Yeah. So I like accidentally came across Pvolve myself. But basically with Pvolve, it's functional fitness, which is honestly, it's great for anybody at any age or any stage of your life. I feel like sometimes there's a misconception that functional fitness is for quote unquote older people because they're not able to, like, I'm like, let's press pause right there. First of all, like, functional is for everybody. Like, we all, whether you're working out 7 days a week, once a month, wherever you are in your journey, functionality in terms of how we move every day is like so important.
It is.
So it's functional fitness. It is a full body workout every single time. It is low impact, but high intensity. And the reason why it's high intensity is because the amount of reps that we're doing with things. We have our own Pvolve equipment. This is like science-based. I personally, it's hard. It's hard, especially when you're teaching. Like, sometimes I'll be like, let me walk around in correct form.
Yes. Yes.
So that I cannot breathe heavily into the mic.
Girl. It looks challenging. Yeah.
But it's a full range of how we're moving. So it's not just lateral movement in terms of like the planes that we're working on. It's like 360, your whole kinesphere in terms of how you're moving. And we have different equipment that we utilize, basically a rotation with the equipment calendar. So we have something called like the slant board. And if you can use your imagination, it's a slanted board. So you're almost like balancing on like a decline. Like it's almost like you're going downhill and you get a chance to like work on your stability and be able to basically just prolong how you move in day-to-day life. So I personally have gotten a lot stronger. I don't know if are my triceps showing?
Period.
It might not be, I don't know. But just know that I have gotten stronger regardless of what the arm looks like. Just know I've gotten stronger with our equipment and with teaching. And it's been really good so far. So
yeah. I love that. I want to try a class for sure. And also, I feel like, I don't know, there's like a shift in the fitness community that I see where more people are gearing towards like body weight workouts or, like you said, like functionality, like just trying to become stronger and also like adding more mobility, you know, and I feel like less people are now gravitating towards like, let's lift super freaking heavy and I need to deadlift 400 pounds and like, you know, just like, I feel like it was just very trendy for a while. And not saying like it's you know, it's always going to be trendy of people lifting weights and all that. And I think it's great. And I always am going to push people to lift weights. But I think people don't realize you can still get the benefits of like strengthening your body and having longevity just like in your movement period. You know, if you're doing like body weight workouts or resistance working with like bands or smaller equipment like in Pvolve.
100%. 100%. And there's different formats too. So like we have like a strength and sculpt class that's like our signature class. We have sculpt and burn, which is like more cardio based. We have progressive weight training where you do have added weights. So it's just there's options, you know. Like you just said, it's not about like necessarily 400 pounds. Again, not knocking. If you're doing that, good for you. Like we're not knocking it at all. But there's other ways to gain that strength, the mobility aspect, especially as we get older.
Absolutely.
So important.
Yeah. How do you feel being in your 30s? Like, do you feel like your body has changed? Like, do you visibly see or feel, you know, in your body, like difference from like your 20s into now?
Okay, we're gonna get a little personal here. So I actually have some undiagnosed autoimmune issues.
Okay.
So I started getting like sick when I was like 25 or so. Like I had like, it was so many like random like things that were happening. I had like hair loss, like joint swelling. I had brainouts since I was like in high school. That's when you lose circulation in your fingers and your extremities and your toes and stuff, and it really hurts.
Wow.
I had shingles I got when I was like 25. That was like so random. And, like, to be honest, it's been such a weird. I'm not saying how old I am, but just know that your girl's
you're
cute.
young,
forever young, forever.
We're very young.
100%. But I feel like it's been such an uphill battle in terms of me finding a doctor that I trust, but also like reciprocates in terms of respect and doesn't just dismiss me. I had a couple doctors that I went through where they were like, "Oh, because you're young, you're just making this up," or like, "Oh, you must be stressed." I'm like, can you listen to what I'm saying? Like, I'm so in tune with my body, especially because I'm a dancer.
Yeah.
So if something's off, and it indicates that something's off with my blood work. So like, you're gonna sit here and tell me that I'm making this up or I'm fabricating. Like, so I did go through a few doctors where I just felt completely just dismissed and very uncomfortable.
Mm.
So I feel like from my 20s to now being in my 30s, I'm more aware of like making sure that I'm consistent with moving my body.
Yeah.
Not to say I wasn't in my 20s, but in terms of working out for me in my 20s, it was like, I'm dancing, which is great. And it is a workout, but realistically, cross training is very important. Again, talking about longevity and just how we move and just your joints and your everything. So I would say I feel stronger now because I prioritize fitness and being in the gym and teaching Pvolve and doing things like that. I do feel stronger. And I still do get flare-ups with like my autoimmune whatever's brewing in my body, but I almost like I don't want to claim anything. I'm like, if it happens, it happens. I'll deal with it. And like now that I'm older, I do have a better means of like managing that pain when it does happen. And you know, I'm just doing the best I can.
Yeah.
I've been going to the sauna.
Yeah.
I go to Perspire over in Wyckoff. It's like a private sauna studio suite. You can be my guest if you want to come.
Yes.
100%. So like prioritizing things like that and like, just like making
self-care.
Sure. Like that's so important. So, you know, 20, 30, it's just a number.
Yeah.
We're just okay.
Yeah.
You know, there's no such thing as old. Like,
yeah.
I feel like there's this misconception of like when you turn 30 in the dance world, your career is over. It's
absolutely
like,
not.
No.
It's all about how you take care of your body.
Yes.
It's all about that. Like I tell people, like there's no reason why you shouldn't be stretching at least 2-3 days out the week, you know, especially if you're out here doing crazy shit. Like you're running, you're lifting weights, you're dancing, you know, like all these things, like we're breaking down our bodies. So we need to make sure that like we're doing the recovery, you know, exercises as well. And like we're putting that time to set aside, you know, to like move slowly, to stretch your body. Like if your neck is feeling crazy, like tend to your neck, go get a massage. Like there's a lot of things like body work, just body work in general that like we need to be doing so that we can keep going and feeling good. Yeah.
For sure. I feel like too, now that you just said that, I don't know, I don't want to say it's like pride, but like back when you were like 18, you're like, look what I can do. And you can just like drop down into a split. Like I'm not doing that now. I can't do that now. So I almost feel like it's a sense of like, I don't know if pride is the right word, but just like, oh, it means that I can't. Like, if it's almost, what am I trying to say? Like, it's a bad thing if I go to get a massage or if I need to ice my body. And it's like, no, it's not. Like, it's okay. It's okay. You don't have to like associate age with recovery. Like, that doesn't make sense. But I almost feel like with some people, it does. Almost. Like, they look at it like, I'm weak. Like, I need ice today, or I need to get the massage gun. But it's like, no, age has not, like, it's just part of, like you said, like recovery. Like it's important. Yeah. Whatever age.
Yeah. When you think about like athletes are constantly icing their body, getting massages, having people stretch them, you know, like they're not just going into a game and then like, fuck it, like I'll see you at the next game. Like, you know, like I'll be good for the next game. Like, no, they're doing like preventative care as well. So like we have to do the same thing as dancers.
We're athletes. We are athletes. But I knew what you meant. Like if you're like a football player, but like, all of that. We are we are athletes.
Yep.
Take care of ourselves. Like
100%.
That's what we're doing.
100%.
That's what we're doing.
So while we're talking about dancers, have you been wanting to take a heels class for the longest time, but either you don't have heels classes in your area or you've just been too shy to sign up for that class and go for it? Well, I'm super excited to announce that we are officially online. We have heels classes for everyone and anyone, and you can take them any and everywhere. This has been a long time coming. I know so many of you guys have asked if we have online classes, and we are so excited to announce that our classes are now digital. And we have a specific heels fundamentals workshop that you can check out and really get into your heels bad. And the best part about the this program is you're not just jumping into a heels class. You're not just jumping into choreography. You will have a full heels fundamentals beginner course where you're able to learn the basics, the fundamentals, how to walk in your heels, your lines, your shapes, how to feel fluid in your body, how to use your core so that you can feel stable and you don't feel like you're wobbling in your heels every single time. And yes, you might wobble the first 1 or 2 classes, and that's completely normal. But the best part about this is that you can work at your own pace. So you can break up your modules, do 1 module a day, you can repeat them. The heels program also comes with core and flexibility training, which is what we need to succeed in heels. We have to have a nice, strong, and solid core. And we also need to work on our flexibility so that we can hit those moves and feel nice and sexy and fluid. So if this sounds like something that you're trying to get into this year and you're ready to step into the baddie that you're meant to be, I invite you guys to go check out our Rhythm and Pumps online heels training program 1.0. Okay, be a founding member, get your price locked in, because honey, we are going to blow up this year. I'm telling y'all, and I'm manifesting this right now. So check it out. $19.99 per month. You guys can cancel at any time if this isn't your thing, if it's not working out for you, if you're not really into it. Cancel at any time. No hidden fees, no contracts. Go to our website, www.realrhythmdanceandfitness.com. Head on over to the On Demand tab and check out our memberships. I want to talk briefly about, like your connection with dancers, because I know like you're a big advocate for like, putting like other dancers on and, networking. Like you're pretty good at like just having a presence on social media. So do you ever have dancers like hit you up and they're like, hey, like, can you get me a gig for like so-and-so job? Or can you put me on to something? And like, I don't know, like, how does that work for you? Like, how do you feel about that?
Yeah. So being on social media, primarily like Instagram, I use my Instagram for that aspect of like connecting and DMing people, or they're like, oh, can you help me with this? Like, I'm always grateful when I get a DM and someone's like, hey, like, I see you doing this. Like, can you guide me with this? Like, I feel my passion in life, like my main of all my passions, my main thing is like helping someone get from point A to point B.
Oh, I love that.
Like, right? It's so rewarding to like help somebody, especially like since I've received so much support and help in my life. Like, why would I gatekeep? I talked about this the other day on my Instagram. For me, like, I'm not gonna be somebody who's gonna gatekeep information when how would I benefit from that?
Yeah.
If I'm just like withholding information and be like, Marissa, you know what? It would be really great if you could do this, but I'm not gonna share. Like,
yeah.
Like,
yeah.
It sounds crazy to me.
Right.
So I think there's also though a fine line where it's not like I'm literally holding someone's hand and I'm like step 1, step 2 for like every aspect, but it's really good to, I feel like I would consider myself a mentor for like certain people that I've worked with in the past, which is, it's a beautiful feeling.
Yes,
it's really rewarding. It really is. So that does happen to me quite a bit with modeling, with dancing, and just, people just trying to find that first step. But I think it's important to invest in yourself. So like if you have somebody like a mentor, if you are hitting somebody up on social media and saying like, hey, can you help me with this? Great. But it's also important to do your own research where you're not, like I said, taking advantage and like that person shouldn't have to hold your hand with every single thing. If there's a teaching opportunity, like if you have like a program or something, like I do development for dancers. So it's like, if you want me to literally sit with you and take your hands and we're going to do it together, where there's like compensation for time and like the research that I'm doing for you and your brand, then like that's a little different. But in terms of gatekeeping and being like, oh yeah, like when you go to this audition, make sure you wear this or something. If it's like something where it can just help benefit somebody.
Yeah.
Like quick aspect like that, 100%. I think that's really important. So
do you ever have people hit you up where like they don't have anything to show for, like they're asking you for a job but like they don't have anything dance related or related to what they're trying to do like on their Instagram?
Yes. Yes, I'm gonna say this in a non-shady way, but we're keeping it real. Let's just be like, let's be real in this moment. So for me, being in the modeling world now a little bit more, still being a dancer, of course, I get DMs where people are like, oh, like I really, really want to do this. Or if they might have it in their bio that they're like, oh, choreographer, dancer, whatever. And then I go to their page just to, just see what I'm working with. And this goes for casting directors. Like your Instagram is an extension. It is a visual resume. It's not replacing a portfolio, a proper portfolio or a proper resume, but it's an extension of what you're doing.
Yeah. Yes.
So it does happen more times than not, I will say, where people will DM me and they're like, oh, like I want to get into modeling, or I want to do this, or like I see you're doing this. And it's great that they're on the mindset of asking questions, but it's also like, how do you have this in your bio that you're a choreographer, or that you're a dancer, and there's nothing on your page? Like, you expect me to refer you for a job potentially, or you want to do this, which again, it's great for that desire that like, I want to do this. That's great. So many people want to do so many things, but you got to back it up.
Facts.
You have to back it up.
Facts.
So I would look crazy if I referred someone for a job, like a dance job or even a modeling gig or something. And it's like, there's nothing on your page to show for it. If I'm like, yeah, like book this person and I share their profile, like we're in the day and age of instant sharing. Like that's what social media is.
Yes.
So I would look crazy if I'm referring somebody for a job and there's nothing on their page about whatever that might be. So I'm not gonna do that, y'all. You gotta up the Insta.
It's a free tool to literally showcase everything that you're doing. Literally, like links in bio, you know, like even if you don't have, you know, your Instagram set up where it looks like a resume or whatever, you know, like put the links. Link it to your resume, link it to something else, link it to your portfolio, link it to a reel, you know, like there's so many ways that we can be utilizing social media. And I think we got to take advantage, like, especially if you're a creative, you got to take advantage.
You have to. It's literally at this point, it is part of your brand. It is part of it is your job. Like it's part of it. And for people that are like, I don't like social, I don't like, okay, you don't have to like it, but you kind of have to do it. Like it's at this point, it's for being a creative, it's part of, it's an extension.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, TikTok's like a little different, but
yeah. Oh, I hate TikTok. Follow us on our new TikTok account.
Some people are so creative on that app. Like, I know, like the creativity.
Yeah.
Like, it's so, some people are really funny on there. I'm like,
yeah.
This is pretty good.
They are.
Yeah.
I feel like with TikTok, it's too like, I don't know. It doesn't have to be like overthought, you know, like sometimes the most like simple posts go viral. It's like, you're not doing too much. Yeah.
Sometimes that does frustrate me because I'm like, I'll put in time. I'm like, I'm going to edit this video. It's
period.
Like 7,000 likes.
Yeah.
Like
1.
Like, what? There we go. 1. And if the like was from me, like I liked my own video.
Yeah, facts.
It's I don't understand the TikTok algorithm too much.
I don't either, girl. It's crazy. But we're out here. We're doing our thing. We're doing our best. And I want to thank you so much for pulling up today, coming on the show. I would love to have you back.
Anytime.
I'd be having, you know, I'd be running the block, circling the block. I'm like not hip, like running the block.
We could be running. We'll go for a little run, you know, fitness, all that. No. We just talked about this before. We don't like to run. It's not on my resume. It's not.
I every now and then, you know, if I'm feeling a little pudge around the stomach, like I'll do some sprints. Like, you know, I feel like that's a quick way to get yourself right. But daily, no. Just tell the people where they can find you on social media.
You can find me in your dreams as well. On social media. You can find me on social media at One Woman Gig, but the woman is Woah. So it's one, like the number, WOAHMANGIG. A lot of people don't know how to pronounce it. They're like, what is it?
I'm not going to lie. I'm one of them.
Whoa.
I was saying whoa, mange.
Oh.
Like, girl, I don't.
It's okay. Now you know.
Now I know.
One Woman Gig.
It's like one that.
Show. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So creative.
Thanks. I try.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Follow Carly on social media, okay? Check her out. Check out, she's doing all the things. She's doing amazing things out here, and she's supporting other creatives like you should also do. So if you're watching or listening to this podcast, don't forget to rate and review if you're loving the show on Apple or Spotify, okay? Leave us a rating so more people can find the show. And if you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button, drop a comment, let us know what resonated with you in this conversation today. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel, and we'll see you in another one.